Hello, this is Richa Sarma, Assistant Professor, Department of English, USTM. Today we will read the poem A Poison Tree by William Blake. William Blake is known for his essays and poetry. His poems are considered to be pre-romantic poems. They also share characteristics similar to romantic poetry. Today we will read one of his poems, that is A Poison Tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not, my wrath did grow. So the first stanza of this poem says that when a person, we'll just consider that it is about the poet. So when the poet was angry with his friend, the poet went to the friend and disclosed that he had been angry with his friend. And after disclosing it, his anger ended there. But then, when the poet was angry with his enemy, he did not disclose it to his enemy. But what did he do? He suppressed his anger, and as a result, the anger grew more. And I watered it in fears, night and morning, with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles and with soft deceitful wiles. So now, poet is comparing our anger with a sapling. When we have a sapling or seedling, what do we do to make it a huge tree someday? We water it, we keep it in the sun. So sun and water work together to make it a full bloom tree one day. In the same way, when we suppress our anger, our fear and our deceitful strategies grow it, try to contribute to the growth of the tree of anger. So, in the second stanza, we can see the poet William Blake comparing our anger with a plant. And he says that with his fear, night and morning with his tear, he was nurturing the plant of anger. So when we are angry actually, then what happens if we suppress our anger? It becomes very poisonous in nature, and it actually eats us from inside. We are always involved in the process. We are always angry, that means we are always depressed. We are stressing out on such facts which we should have ignored long back. So, what happens in those cases? We fear that our enemy might also be thinking about us, because the other person is definitely also angry with us. So, definitely, the other person is also thinking about us and is making some plans to make me suffer. So, what do? We try to maintain a fake relationship with our enemy when we suppress our anger. Suppressing our anger means the other person does not know that we are angry at that person. So the poet, what did he do? He says that day and night he was involved in the process of being angry with his enemy. And how did he do this? How did he suppress his emotion? How did the other person not know that the poet is angry with him? Because the poet was giving him fake smiles, and he was uh, making some strategy, deceitful strategy, to put the other person down, to make the other person suffer. And that's how the anger which is suppressed has become very poisonous now. It grows more, and as a result, we start making such strategies through which we can put the other person down. Now, in the second stanza, this is shown that our fear and our fake strategies, our fake smiles, actually work like water and sun for this plant of anger. The way water and sun help a plant to grow. In the same way, when we are afraid that the other person can do something bad to me because I do not have a good relationship with him, Actually, cordially, we do not share a good relationship. So we are always afraid. We have a fear that the other person can do something wrong to me. And what do? We just maintain a good relationship on a surface level. But from inside, we are making strategies to make the other person suffer. And these things work like sun and water for the plant of anger. That means now your anger will grow more. Third stanza says, and it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. So one day what happens after suppressing anger for so long, one day that anger will bear fruit. That means now it is the consequence of the suppressed anger. So what happens when we suppress our anger? One day we execute a plan. We are suppressing anger for so long and we keep making strategies to uh, make the other person suffer. So one day finally we execute the plan, and that is called the fruit of that anger tree, the tree of anger. Here the fruit is called an apple, and my enemy comes and he looks at the fruit and it looks very shiny because all deceitful things look very shiny. So when you are planning to scam someone, to trap someone, the plan is always attractive. So here also it is same. The apple looks shiny. That means your plan is such which is attractive enough to trap the other person. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. So what happens after that? Because that is my foe, so that foe has tried to steal my fruit of anger. And at night when he attempted to steal my fruit, finally in the morning I see that is he has died under the tree of my anger. Here it says the tree of apple under which my enemy is dead. It's lying. Now, what does it mean? So, one meaning is that when we suppress our anger, we make strategy to uh, make the other person suffer. One day, we make a plan and we execute the plan. The execution is such that we scam the other person and the other person does not know about it. The other person falls in our trap. The trap looks so attractive, like the apple. And finally, when he feels that the trap is something which is just as normal, offer or a very ordinary offer, and it looks attractive, then the person falls in our trap, and the person might lose his life also. If some people with their suppressed anger make a plan to kill the other person, to the enemy, then it might happen. And it's not always about killing, it's about making the other person suffer. So here my foe outstretched beneath the tree, though it is showing a picture of death, it can be also a picture of sufferings. That means finally I executed my plan. He thought it is something very attractive and he fell into my trap, and now he is suffering. Here the poem ends. However, there is one more angle to see this poem. Why apple? Why the tree of fruit was a tree of apple? So we can see that it has biblical references. When in the poems we refer to Bible or scripts from Bible, it is called biblical story or biblical reference. Now, here it is referring to the story of Adam and Eve and the fruit of knowledge. So, in Bible there is a story of Adam and Eve, the first human who were created by God, and they committed their first sin by eating the apple, and after that their suffering started. So again, this tree of anger is a tree of apple. It is written here in the poem to bring that similarity with between these two stories, the story which is told in this poem and the story of Bible. The way the apple of that biblical story was so poisonous, so dangerous that till now humanity is paying for that. Till now we are suffering for the sin committed by Adam and Eve. In the same way, the fruit of anger can be very, very poisonous and can lead to such sufferings. Now we'll see something about the poem. The poem is definitely written by William Blake. It was published in 1794 in the collection Songs of Experience. William Blake is known for his two very famous poetry collections. One is Songs of Experience and another is Songs of Innocence. So this poem is taken from Songs of Experience. And this poem is again, this is about suppressed anger and its consequence. So themes are also written here, which I have already mentioned earlier. The original title of the poem was Christian Forbearance. However, later on, the title was changed to A Poison Tree. About the poet, that is William Blake. William Blake wrote in the early 19th century, and he was a poet, painter, printmaker from London. His works were considered to be pre-romantic. He was a committed Christian, and his Christian beliefs can be seen in his writings. Notable works include Songs of Innocence and Experience, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, The Four Joas, and Jerusalem. So all his work actually reflect his Christian beliefs. Now summary of the poem, which I have already described, given the explanation already. And now if we see the biblical allusions, what were the biblical allusions here? A poison tree is the tree of knowledge that is there in Bible, and here in this poem it is written as a poison tree, the apple as the forbidden fruit. Killing the enemy is committing a sin, and repressed anger is disobeying God. So the biblical story is such: Adam and Eve were created and they were given paradise to live in. When they were living in paradise, then what happened? God asked them not to eat the fruit that comes in the forbidden tree, that is the tree of knowledge. The fruit was called forbidden fruit, and the tree was tree of knowledge, and they were asked not to eat fruit from that tree. But one day Eve eats the fruit, and Adam also accompanies her. So as a result, God came, and God wanted them to know that actually it's a sin. So at first God sent angels, and the angel explained that they have disobeyed God. So when you disobey God, what happens? You commit sin, and when you commit sin, then you suffer. So because they have disobeyed God by eating the fruit of fruit of knowledge, so now they have to suffer. And that's how in Bible it is said that Eve and Adam had committed the sin, and that is why they had to suffer. So in this poem again, the poison tree is the tree of knowledge, and the apple that we can see in this poem is that forbidden fruit which we are not supposed to eat, and which definitely because of our anger this fruit is coming. So we should not suppress our anger. If we are angry with someone, angry at someone, we can just go to that person and we can have a conversation. Killing an enemy in the poem is equivalent to committing a sin, definitely. And repressed anger, when we repress anger, we are in a way disobeying God. We are not supposed to repress our anger because it is equivalent to committing a sin eventually. That's how the poem ends. Thank you.